Hello everyone, this is your stimulus update for Monday, June 15th. This update will be for those of you that are still waiting on your first stimulus update, and for those of you that are wondering about a second stimulus check and the potential for a second stimulus check at this point. My name is Justin and I do daily stimulus check updates, so if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe right now and hit the notification bell so that you'll be updated each and every time I upload a new video. So first off, let's talk about the first stimulus payment of $1,200, and for those of you that haven't received it still, let's talk about that. So if you have not received your first stimulus payment of $1,200, continue checking the Get My Payment tool. That is the most up-to-date information that the IRS has for you. If you can't get into the Get My Payment tool, or you have a payment date that is in the past, you need to call the IRS and get a hold of a representative there to see what could be happening with your payment, whether it's been sent already and sent to an incorrect bank account or sent to an old address or something else. You need to call the IRS if your payment date is in the past and more than 2 weeks ago. I'll leave those IRS phone numbers in the description below. I have had a lot of comments from people recently that said that they have a payment date of June 17th. That's this Wednesday, and that goes in line with what the IRS has usually been doing with direct deposits, and that's payments on Wednesday for direct deposits. So watch for a Wednesday payment date because your payment could be coming this Wednesday on the 17th. If you had a paper check that was mailed, then the paper checks can take up to 2 weeks or more to come to you. So based on your mailing date, add an additional 2 weeks to whatever that date was if you're receiving a paper check in the mail. So let's talk about the second stimulus and the potential for a second stimulus payment. Up until recently, I wasn't even confident that there was going to be a second stimulus payment, but my tune has changed. And that's mostly because in the past week, the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, has come out and said that the Trump administration is very seriously considering more stimulus. And President Trump himself has come out and said, we'll be asking for additional stimulus money. So President Trump and the Treasury Secretary and one of his economic advisors, Kevin Hassett, said that the chances of another stimulus package are very, very high. So that's 3 people in the Trump administration, including Trump himself, that have said the chances of another stimulus payment are very high or good or will be coming. So that's good news for those of you that are wondering about a second stimulus payment. In addition to that, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has kind of said all along that we need more stimulus money and that Americans are in need of more stimulus money because otherwise this economy is going to tank and a lot of people are going to be in a lot more financial hurt than they are now. So for more stimulus to happen, we need multiple things to happen. First off, the House of Representatives has to pass it. The House of Representatives has been willing to spend on stimulus money and even pass the HEROES Act last month. So the House needs to pass it. Next, the Senate has to deliberate and pass something, and the Senate has been a lot less willing to do so. The Senate has talked about they'd rather take a wait-and-see approach and see how the economy is doing before they commit to more stimulus money. If the Senate is persuaded to pass more stimulus money, I think the House will get on board. And if those two are on board, I'm pretty sure that President Trump is going to sign it. There's no way President Trump in an election year is going to receive a bill from the House, the Senate on more stimulus and then not sign it. The question is what it's going to be, and nobody knows really at this point. The HEROES Act was $1,200 payments for each individual, including those that were claimed as a dependent. And for those with dependent children, be paid $1,200 to their parents for each child, up to 3 in a family. So if something like the HEROES Act passes, then $1,200 would be coming to basically almost every American. There is an income limit, but it's pretty high. And so as long as you make below that income limit, you would be receiving another $1,200 stimulus payment. So the timeline for the next stimulus is a little bit more hazy, and it's a little further back than maybe some of you think. The Senate has talked about not even talking about the chance of the next stimulus until July. Well, the Senate goes on recess from July 3rd till July 17th. So if they're talking about it in July, I don't think they're going to be talking about it July 1st or July 2nd. So the second stimulus isn't even going to be deliberated or discussed in the Senate until after July 17th, which puts it further into like the later part of July that they would be agreeing on something, and then maybe even pushing the payments rolling out into August. So a second stimulus is being talked about, and luckily from the White House and their administration, seems much more positive right now about another stimulus than they have been in the past. Most likely another stimulus is coming, but it's not coming until the end of July, most likely probably earlier in August. That's your chances, those are your timelines, and that's what's being discussed as far as the next stimulus payment goes. So that is your update for Monday, June 15th. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will keep you up to date on all the latest for the stimulus packages of the first stimulus payment and how to get your first stimulus payment, as well as the second stimulus, what's being proposed, when it might be coming, and everything else with regards to stimulus. And I will talk to you again soon.